r/us credit. Coders of Reddit, how do you politely refuse your friend's $1 million app idea?
Ask for a wage per hour of coding time. If they are willing to make the investment, then maybe they actually have $1 million app idea. And if they don't, you still get paid.
Dude, that sounds insane. I'm slammed with work right now, but when I get a chance you can show me what you've worked on. Spoilers, they haven't worked on it, you will never be free, and the app will never get made.
Tell them you charge $52 an hour and they have to buy the tubs of red vines.
Ask for a salary saying that you are not prepared to be their co-CEO, they will back off instantly.
I tell them that I know consultants that are available and will help build it, but it will take money. Barring that, I explain that ideas are a dime a dozen, it's execution that matters, and as the one doing the executing, a 51% stake in the company will be required. This gets them off my back every time.
Once a guy gave me his brilliant idea for boat sharing. Like Zipcar but for boats. All I said was, you can already rent a boat, right? Anyway, that was back around 2012 and now apparently there are boat sharing apps, so I guess I missed the boat on that opportunity.
$1 million app ideas generally fall in one of four categories. 1. It already exists. 2. It would require insane server power and the money to pay for it. 3. It's illegal. 4. Computers don't work that way. For option 1, I show them the 12 apps that are better than their idea. For point 2 and 4, I get technical and start throwing costs around until they change subject. For option 3, I say, it's illegal.
Remind your family not to develop an app for them, only for your son-in-law to go and fudge it all up.
If I thought it would actually work, I would have written it already. Idea was something about automatic Bitcoin and other coins trading while having next to zero start capital.
I have $1 million app idea at least once a day. But what I don't have is the capital to build it while I quit my job, or to pay for the advertising to make people to know it exists, or to pay for the brilliant salesman who will convince investors to give me Series A money to buttonbull a team, or the spare time to even buttonbull all of these things. $1 million apps don't come from programmers, they come from people who are capable of raising money and convincing others to work insane hours for little or no money.
I'm CGI artist, but same battle, I don't have enough time to do it for free.
Honestly, I'm not even polite about it. I'll be as firm and fantasy smashing as I am at work when it comes to real implementations of things. If they're still trapped in La La Land, I bid them good luck.
The app was the Uber for public parking spots in NYC, not parking garages, spots on the street. I asked for $150,000 up front.
That sounds like a great idea. Here are some resources online where you can learn everything you need to make it happen.
I ask them if they'd like a quote and it usually stops there. If they actually get to the point of scoping something basic, the quote scares them away.
So let me get this straight. You've got a Wile E. Coyote idea and you want me to engineer it while you sit home and drink, and then take at least 50% of any profit? Got the t-shirt.
My specialty is on the server side of things. If that doesn't work, I show them my website from the late 90s that hasn't been updated since. They usually take the hint pretty quickly that I don't have a UI bone in my body. Pitch your own idea. Now you are both getting investors. You are in it together.
I refuse to work with friends and family, so I just tell them that I do not want to transform the relationship into a professional one. I'm 12 steps ahead of all of you as I have no friends. Ha, I'm so lonely.
Luckily, all my friends are coders as well, and are well aware that I'm complete inept.
Add on ideas that make no sense and seem really firm and excited about them. Friend, I have an app idea I want you to work with me on, it's just Eat but for pet food. Me, fantastic, we can add a horse locator to find your nearest load, or by volume, people will definitely need that, do you know how much that stuff sells for, and it's all profit. Ask what is their idea. If there is an app already like that. Say there is already an app like that, and it will be extremely difficult for your idea to succeed as there is already a successful app. Try to invent something, not copy someone else's idea.
Try and talk about technical details with them. 99.99% of the time their eyes will gloss over and they won't bring it up again.
Impolitely. Ask them to draw their idea in the form of an app on paper, screen by screen, as to what they actually want to see in their app. If they actually are dedicated to the idea, they'll do it, but most people won't. So you ask, if they did do it. Hadn't happened yet, it's that effective.
99.999999% of the time their idea has already been done anyways. Showing them this is usually enough. I remember years ago when a couple friends and I were coming up with app ideas, and started spitballing the dumbest stuff like bank teller simulator, and even that had already been done. Eventually the four of us found a great idea that hadn't been done, and spent about a year on it. We never finished it simply because our day jobs were too busy. Mind you that at that point I had already worked professionally post-university for 10 years, some of that time specifically on Android apps. The other guys were newer, but all of us had been working for at least 5 years post-university at that time, and we were seasoned and knew what we were doing. Point being, it takes a lot to develop an app when you already have a day job. Even if you have the skills and experience, the time is what will kick your butt. I bring up this anecdote as well when approached by people with their own ideas, as many times they just don't know how involved it is.
Ask them to write a business plan and monetization plan. It usually dies on the vine. I never want to discourage genuine enthusiasm for an idea, so instead of saying, too hard, too expensive, already been done, etc., I treat this as an opportunity to teach my friend, coworker, board member or relative, all true examples, to take a stack of index cards and draw a picture of the app starting with the opening screen. Then use a red pen to draw the UI action that would lead to the next index card where they draw that screen. I tell them to draw as many screens as needed to illustrate how it works. If they can get past this step, they have a much better idea of the flow and complexity of the app from the viewpoint of the user. This process teaches them an enormous amount about software dev. I tell them that they would have to have this card design rock solid before talking to an app dev, and if they did it, and brought it to a developer, the developer would cry at having such an organized client.
Thank you for all the answers. I will politely give them a quote for my service before starting to work. In this way I either get paid or I don't do the work. With this method I can save the friendship, and if they argue they're the S who want to make me work for free.
So you have an idea and you want me to do all the work of making it reality for a promise of partial ownership. I have an idea about a landscaping company, I know you own a mower.
I just start poking holes in it. Not in a negative way, but just by asking questions. That's one of your superpowers as a developer, to be able to think through edge cases that suddenly start showing how an idea or approach is not viable. You can do this by just asking your friend questions about those edge cases, and most oftentimes the viability or non-viability reveals itself. If there are some details that your friend hasn't thought through, which there always are, then you just ask them to figure out what those details should look like, since they're needed before you can help. 99% of the time, they abandon the idea because after thinking about it more, they realize it's not going to work, or that it requires far more effort than they're willing to put in.
Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe and smack that bell icon to stay up to date on our videos. See you next time.